Console players, we've heard your call. Today we're going to do a guide just for you guys. In this video, we're going to take a look at the top secrets to control mapping in Overwatch for console. My name is Nathan and this is Blizzard Guides. So just a few things before I start this video. First, I just want to let you guys know that I did in fact come from console. I played on Xbox up until Season 5, so I'm not too bad with the controller. One of the biggest things that I noticed a lot of players in my elos didn't really utilize was control mapping. As a matter of fact, it's probably one of the easiest things you can do to instantly improve your gameplay. Now, I debated a lot when writing this video. I wasn't sure whether I should go hero by hero, give some general control sets, or what. After a lot of thinking, I decided that it would be best to just teach you guys 3 fundamental tips to creating good control sets, as well as giving some specific examples so that you can quickly create controls that work best for you, and then show you guys some important things to enable in your settings as well, which actually will apply to you PC players as well if you're still watching this video. So with that said, let's get right into this list. To start us off at number 3, we're taking a look at higher mobility heroes. This is probably most important in the list because this is where you're going to be changing your controls the most. When it comes to high mobility heroes, there are 3 main priorities. 1, there's going to be a lot of jumping involved. If you're playing Tracer, Genji, Lucio, heroes like that, you're going to be jumping a lot, so you need to have jump easily accessible. Secondly, you're also going to be using one specific ability quite a bit. So in the examples that I gave, Genji you would be dashing a lot, Tracer you would be blinking a lot, Lucio you would be crossfading a lot. So you need to balance your control so that you're able to do those abilities frequently, as well as being able to jump a lot. And lastly, you'll also just want to try and bind your burst abilities to something that's very accessible. So my recommendations are as follows. First, jump is just going to be your best friend, so I strongly suggest setting your jump to be your left bumper or left trigger. Personally, I remember using the left trigger and I would set my secondary ability to the left bumper. Second, you want to have your most used ability to be easily accessible. So if you set jump per se for left trigger, then set your most used ability to the left bumper, or vice versa. So if your jump is on left bumper, set the most used ability to the left trigger. And then following that, you just want to make sure that you have your burst ability very accessible. So personally, when I play Tracer, I would set melee to the right bumper, and for Lucio, I would set my boop to the right bumper because I use that actually a lot to space the enemy tanks away from my team and also the enemies away from me and protecting my healers. So stuff like that is going to be very useful. So to summarize, you want your jump to be easily accessible, you want your highest movement ability or the most frequently used ability on the other bumper, and then you want to also have your burst ability on the extra button that you have from the triggers and the bumpers. Next up, we have the slightly less configurable but still very important semi-mobile heroes. So for example, for a hero like Mercy, staying agile and evading damage is key. So moving jump to left trigger can actually be a huge change. Also, moving your weapon key to the left stick also allows you to quickly pull out your gun and do tons of damage to any unsuspecting enemies trying to dive you. In addition to this, you could set your res to A on Xbox or X on PS4. These are smaller changes than the high mobility heroes since you're actually remapping most of your abilities when it comes to high mobility heroes. The semi-mobile heroes really benefit from just small minor changes to easily access abilities that you're going to be using frequently, and also removing strain from your hands. So a good example would be Roadhog. Switching your hook to the left trigger is a really strong idea because it minimizes the strain while you're trying to aim and then also throw your hook at the same time. Moving your far shot ability to the left bumper and switching those two is just really useful in general. I do that personally and it just helps me aim a little bit better even though it's such a minor change. And lastly, I'm just going to show you guys some miscellaneous swaps that will help a lot. First, there's switching triggers for Mei, Doomfist, and Moira. This can really just help you to aim better, but also it just makes more sense on the controller that way anyway, especially for Doomfist and Moira since the hands are swapped and it feels a little weird. The only thing you'll have to keep in mind is for Doomfist and Mei specifically, whenever you're using an ability like your ultimate on Mei or your ultimate on Doomfist or your cryo freeze on Mei, canceling it is going to be the opposite trigger, so that gets swapped. It's a little weird, but it's something that you get used to. Also, switching infrequently used abilities to the left stick in favor of putting jump on the bumper is a really good idea, and if you're on PS4, a common trick I see is switching your primary and secondary fire to the bumpers instead of the triggers so that you can hair trigger rather quickly and have extra space for the regular triggers. I don't recommend this on Xbox though just because of how stiff the bumpers are. So in general, when you want to make a control set that isn't going to fall under those niche heroes that I mentioned before, you really just want to focus on what you're going to be doing most as that hero and setting the most accessible controls to those abilities. Setting abilities that require aim on the left side is always best bet since your right index finger will always be engaged while shooting and your right thumb will always be engaged while aiming. So leaving the left hand available to use abilities that require a lot of aim is usually the way to go. But with this, the number one priority is just always making sure that your fingers never have to stop moving or aiming. So adjusting controls to allow you to use your abilities and move and aim is the priority. And some other tips and tricks to follow this up: turn allied health bars on under settings. Also, turning on automatically climbing walls on for Genji, Hanzo, and Junkrat can really help a lot as well, since you don't have to hold the jump button down while you climb. If you play Lucio, turning reverse wall ride on can help a lot. Toggling beam connection and toggling scope on console is also really useful as well if you play those heroes a lot. And also, I'd seriously recommend turning vibrations off, since that will tend to ruin your aim a lot. And one minor thing, try not to set abilities to the right thumbstick when you press it down, just because that does mess your aim up a bit. I know some players like to set jump or melee to that ability, and melee is probably the only exception here, but don't set anything like jump to your aiming stick, because that will mess your aim up a lot and it's very inefficient. Anyway, I hope this guide helped you guys out a lot. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this guide and what guide you'd like to see featured on this channel next. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video, as it really helps us know that you guys are enjoying the content. And don't forget to subscribe, as we have a lot of epic moments videos so that you can see the best plays from around the globe, and we also have tips and tricks videos just like this so that you can be the best Overwatch player that you can be. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. My name is Nathan, and this was Blizzard Guides.